It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we will be talking with Lita Nelson. She is the Family Caregiver Coordinator for the Area Agency for Aging and NACOG representative. She's here to discuss the, I have to read this, Arizona Opioid State Targeted Response Grant. Wowzer. Yes. That's a big one.
It is.
There's not really an acronym that goes with that.
No, we like to call it the STR grant.
There we go.
To kind of shorten it a little.
There you go, the STR grant. So first of all, tell us a little about yourself, Lita.
Sure. My name is Lita. I work with Area Agency on Aging. I'm the Family Caregiver Program Coordinator, which means I get to work with families and individuals that are unpaid caregivers in the community, offering them a number of different services. And I'm based in Flagstaff, so I travel northern Arizona quite extensively.
Very nice. I bet that's a rewarding job.
Yes, you know, and right now with the trends in caregiving nationally and even right here in northern Arizona, it's, you know, I definitely am feeling where the impact of my job is, you know, really needed.
Excellent. Now, when you say trends, what are you talking about?
Well, caregivers, you know, by definition, when you say caregiver, a lot of people in the industry think, you know, the certified caregivers, the ones that are paid, you know, to work in facilities or with agencies. We're talking about family caregivers that are, you know, friends, neighbors, volunteers. You know, a lot of times they're not relatives in taking care of someone. And it doesn't have to be, you know, caregiving in terms of hands-on care, full daily care, you know, all of that. It can be as simple as checking in on someone, giving them a ride to an appointment. So we kind of identify family caregivers and try to get family caregivers to self-identify so they can, you know, understand that there's services and programs out there.
Wow, that's amazing. There really are. I went online. If you go to NACOG.org, if you go there, it's an enormous website with everything you could possibly need. If you do /aging, then it takes you to the area for the agency. Yeah. Yes. And it's amazing the programs you offer. It's incredible. But specifically, we want to talk about the State Targeted Response Grant as it works with opioids and older folks. See, that's what's interesting to me, because when you hear Arizona Opioid State Targeted Response Grant, you think, how broad is that? But here it's narrowed down to the older population. And how is that so?
It sure is. You know, and right now nationally, we know that there's trends in opioid abuse and misuse, and especially overdosing and deaths. You know, that's really on the increase as far as, you know, people actually misusing, but this focus is for seniors. There was a study from the you know, Arizona Department of Health. There was studies with areas agencies on aging, and that's all over, you know, Arizona, where we've identified Yavapai County, La Paz, Maricopa, you know, Gila, and a couple of other counties that are, you know, very high in opioid misuse and abuse. And for older folks, you know, they don't necessarily understand a lot of times that, you know, as your body changes, the medication that you're taking, you know, affects your body differently. So you may be overdosing without knowing it, or misusing medication, or forgetting that you took your medication and taking it again. Or, you know, if someone has gone to the hospital and they're on pain management, they're, you know, borrowing their spouse's, you know, opioid or, you know, something of that nature, sharing medications where they're not supposed to, you know, drug-to-drug interactions, drug-to-food, you know, all kinds of different things.
Wow, that's a lot to think about. When you get handed a prescription, you go, okay, great, and then boom, you got this huge list of things you have to think about, interactions, and of course aging, and different bodies respond differently. Right. Wow, so how does that work in for you as working with NACOG and AAA? How does that work into your job?
So the governor's grant is, you know, it's through the Office of Youth, Faith and Family, and we're working with Region 1, which is out of Maricopa County. They started this grant to address the uses of opioids and how we can help, bring education, bring different programs to kind of see how opioids, can be misused. And even if you don't think you're misusing it, or you don't know that you're abusing it, we have programs now that address that. Mm-hmm. We have, starting on May 15th with NACOG, we rolled out, we started training facilitators for the WISE program, which is the Wellness Initiative for Senior Education, and then the Mental Health First Aid for older adults and those with later life issues. And those two programs are very interactive, and they have so much built-in information and supports on opioids and medication management, as far as, chronic diseases and how to, manage pain or how to manage your illness without the use of opioids as much.
Right, I know that it's a tremendous problem right now. As they say, it's an epidemic, yes. Opioid abuse and misuse. Can you give us the definition of opioid abuse? Because I have a feeling it's not just people popping pills to get high. Like, there's a huge definition to this. It's a lot more subtle than we may think. Right,
and a lot of times, dementia can play a part. Medical providers not paying attention to what their older, adult patients are taking, or even families being misinformed on, what the uses of the medications are for. Even people trying to access opioids. If a real estate agent is showing a home, people that are trying to find that medication will go to the home and look for the medications and try to get that. Improper medication disposal, storage, it can all feed back into the opioid misuse and abuse. So it has a number of different definitions, I would say, but for older folks, it's just a matter of they don't understand that they're misusing or abusing, or that they're at risk for becoming addicted to it, or that they are addicted to it.
Right, and they are incredibly addictive.
Yes.
Is that true? Yeah. Wow, so it's quite a predicament.
It's huge, and we're trying to get information out there now with the different programs. The two that I've mentioned before, WISE and Mental Health First Aid, and then also another program that Region 1 has developed is the RX Matters program, and that was developed by nurses, and it's based on a home visit type of model, where we would get somebody, and this is only available in Yavapai County now, but we would get someone, a list or a name of a person who is potentially taking opioids or just wants more information on medication, safe storage, disposal, and then making sure that you're talking with your pharmacist and your doctors about what you're taking and what each other is prescribing, because a cardiologist is not going to change medication that a neurologist is prescribing.
Wow, so you could be misusing it and not know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, without any intention whatsoever to misuse it or abuse it. Yep. You could be without knowing. There's so much information you need to know about this. We're talking about the Arizona Opioid State Targeted Response Grant, all the programs underneath of that through NACOG, through the Area Agency for Aging. We're talking with Lita Nelson. She's the Family Caregiver Coordinator. You can check out NACOG.org. They're also on Twitter. They're also on Facebook. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Countywide, so don't go away.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First, I took them to feel better. Then, I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
I'm here to talk about how with technology you can make amazing worlds. Come with me. My team and I bring the Halo world to life.
Is that you?
That is me. I wasn't a math genius and I knew nothing about coding. But you guys do. You guys have the power to change things.
I want your job.
I want you to have my job.
Sometimes, one moment changes everything. One song, one game, one adventure, one mission. For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. You can transform lives, one wish at a time. Support Make-A-Wish and help grant more life-changing wishes. Learn more at wish.org.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Jen Cohen. Again, we're speaking with Lita Nelson. She's the Family Caregiver Coordinator for the Area Agency for Aging and a NACOG and AAA representative to discuss the Arizona Opioid State Targeted Response Grant, or the STR. We've talked about what that is. Now, you mentioned that the program was available just in Yavapai County. Why? Why are you focusing on Yavapai County?
Sure. For the STR grant, it was actually extended as of May 2018 to other counties. The RX Matters program is still only based in Yavapai County. And the reason for that is because Yavapai County is actually unique. In Arizona, we know that, of course, it's a retirement state now, where our older population, 55 and over, are increasing. And by 2020, over the state's population will be like 32% older adults. So the focus was on Yavapai because the demographics. Seniors are, more and more moving to the Verde Valley or even to the Quad Cities area. And they seem to like the weather, is what we hear pretty often. But so there's an influx definitely of older adults, retirement. And then, that's where the state has been finding through the Access program. They've been finding that a lot of the opioids overdoses, accidental overdose, or, even death by overdose has been happening most. So the target was when the, the governor's office and the Department of Health Services completed their surveys, which, counties ranked highest in opioid misuse. Yavapai was up there with the other 4 counties. They looked at, socioeconomic levels. They also looked at the rural areas where, we definitely don't have enough resources for certain epidemic trends that are happening now. So that's kind of why the focus has remained in Yavapai County. And, thankfully the grant has expanded into the other counties as well. We were kind of given that option or the choice of what other counties do you want to bring WISE and mental health first aid to? And we said all of them.
Yeah.
Apache, Navajo, Coconino, and Yavapai counties, NACOG coverage areas. And then the other, of course, the other partners in Area Agency on Aging, they also decided to expand in their, different counties as well. But right now, we have different ways of, getting these programs into the communities, which is great.
That is great. Now talk about the programs. Boy, you've got a lot, but you just mentioned WISE and mental health first aid. Let's talk about those.
Sure. The WISE program is actually based out of New Jersey. They developed this program. It's a 6-week series. They meet for 2 hours for each week. It's very interactive. You get to meet other seniors or people that are 60 and over that kind of want to know, what does aging look like now? Because it's not what it used to be. It's definitely changing. Everybody's, more health conscious, or they're at least trying to stay more sociable. No one wants to go to senior centers. They would rather go to community centers. So what does all that look like? What does aging mean? How is aging changing you, and what are your plans when when aging takes its toll, I guess. There's a lot of conversations about medication, the brown bag option of bringing all your medications with you to a session and looking at what you're taking, and possibly discussing with your pharmacist, are these medications safe together? Am I taking them right? Should I take it with medications? Are there certain foods I should avoid? Grapefruit is one of them. So
yes.
But that's the WISE program. It's really interactive. Everyone has a chance to participate, and a lot of times friendships come out of that. And it's like you don't realize that you need, or you have something in common with someone, and it's like, well, why don't we do lunch or something sometime? There
you go.
So that kind of feeds into socialization. And then the mental health first aid classes, that's an 8-hour session. It's very intensive, for the facilitators and for the participants, and it really teaches you how to identify a mental health crisis, how to be that first responder. As we're taught in first aid, in basic first aid, how to help someone until the professionals arrive. We would teach the class how to be the first aid responders if they identify a mental health crisis. A lot of times, depression and anxiety, we see that a lot with family caregivers. We see, it's not the schizophrenia, it's not the bipolar type of diseases that we're talking about, or illnesses. It's more of, depression and anxiety daily, and, you would be surprised the number of people that actually have that, that they're suffering with. And a lot of times with depression, people don't reach out for help until like 30 years later, or, much later than that for, anxiety and whatnot.
Well, sure, yeah, that is very widespread. And I know you do a lot with caregiver support.
Yes.
Through your agency, because the folks who are giving care to this older population, be they family members, friends, neighbors, whatever, they're under a lot of stress, and they don't realize it.
No, and it's interesting because we would, with Area Agency on Aging, by the time we get a caregiver calling us, they're in a crisis mode. And it's, my mom fell, now she's in the hospital, now she needs rehab, she's coming home, but there's no care at home, and I'm going to be the sole, caregiver. Or, dementia has been identified, and that's a non-curable disease at this point. So, dementia and advancing dementia, those caregivers are really at risk for so many different, health problems, financial problems, even, predeceasing their loved one. We've seen it in all of our counties where caregivers are dying before the ones they're taking care of, just because of the stress levels, because they're not reaching out for support, not asking for help, And we're trying to get the message out there that it's okay to ask for help, that there's services out there, and there's programs, and there's, a number of different things that we can possibly work on.
Absolutely. You can give the Area Agency on Aging a call at 1-800-521-3500. You can give them a call directly if you're a caregiver and you're looking for some support, or you maybe have some questions, or you want to talk about more of these programs, which there's so many. We can't possibly list them all. But we've got to take another short break. We're talking with Lita Nelson, the Family Caregiver Coordinator for the Area Agency on Aging, and we'll be right back with more Countywide, so don't go away.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
Today is the beginning of a bright new future for this country.
Live a life on my knees.
The voters are coming.
I am the Savior. We are the Savior.
When you are in space, you can't run down to the store to buy parts. You have to improvise with what you have on your mission. Making is when there is something new that was not in existence at the beginning of the day.
Okay.
It's an incredible sense of accomplishment when you have made something. That's why I make. Now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
And welcome back to Countywide. We've been talking about the Area Agency for Aging. We've been talking about the Opioid State Targeted Response Grant. We've talked a little bit about NACOG, which is cool, the Northern Arizona Council of Governments, all the different programs that's involved here. We've talked about the WISE program, the mental health first aid. We've been talking about the opioid misuse, abuse, all that stuff. So much information being thrown at you at once, I know. Now we're going to talk about RX Matters. We've got Lita Nelson with us.
Yes, RX Matters was, developed in Region 1 within Maricopa County. It was developed by nurses once they've identified that this could be helpful for people that are homebound. And the nice thing about RX Matters is that the AmeriCorps program is able to pick this up. We work in partnership with AmeriCorps. So we have an AmeriCorps Vista here in Verde Valley. His name is Ron Ticky, and he runs the RX Matters program. So what happens is an AmeriCorps member will receive a referral from, a home health agency, a hospital, a doctor, a pharmacist, and say, maybe this person could benefit from a conversation about medications. And then I also send them a lot of referrals myself, So the AmeriCorps member will make contact with the person and say, I would like to come and visit you for about an hour and a half, talk about medication, and then go from there. So the visit would happen, and they would discuss what medications are, how medications are affecting their body, how to safely dispose, how to safely store, how to talk to your pharmacist, how to talk to your doctor, how to just a number of different medication-oriented questions and answers. A lot of focus on supplement, food and drug interactions, drug-to-drug interactions, supplement to drug interactions. There's a number of different things. Wow. And they'll also provide a doTERRA bag, which helps to safely dispose of medication. Oh. So it really encompasses a huge medication component. They don't come from it. They don't come about it on a, from an RN perspective, more of on an educational perspective.
Wow.
So it's not, you know, they wouldn't be giving advice as a pharmacist would. They would just definitely recommend that you do make an appointment with a pharmacist.
Excellent. It all seems to be education-based, every program that we've discussed here so far. So much more information we could give out, but we are out of time. You want to go to NACOG.org. You want to check that out, NACOG.org. That's the website. It's going to have lots of stuff, you know, /aging will get you directly to the items on aging. We've been talking about all the different programs. There's so many things, but we are out of time. Lita, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you. So check out NACOG.org. That's all the time we have for Countywide. We'll see you again next time.